everybody, welcome to the Evangelist Nick Garrett channel, Truth First Christianity in a Post-Christian Country, where we aim to separate the objective and factual from the Christian faith from the subjective and traditional for the benefit of our faith walk. We've been doing a once-weekly series on the 1689 Baptist Confession, and during Chapter 1, Article 3, we talked about the Apocrypha. The confession itself says the Apocrypha is not to be viewed as divinely inspired. I made another argument for it, noting that around the world they're used for a variety of reasons, but for the purpose of safety's sake, there's nothing wrong with just referring to them as history and referencing them. But today I want to do something special for you. I want to read you some of the Apocrypha, right? As it appeared in the middle section of the 1611 King James Version of the Bible between the Old and New Testament. This particular story is called Bel and the Dragon, and it, along with many others, was originally included in the book of Daniel before it was viewed as apocryphal and non-canonized. Here's how it goes. It's from chapter 14 of the Greek version of Daniel, Bel and the Dragon, Daniel and the priests of Bel. When King Astyages was laid to rest with his ancestors, Cyrus the Persian succeeded to his kingdom. Daniel was a companion of the king and was the most honored of all his friends. Now the Babylonians had an idol called Bel, and every day they provided for it 12 bushels of choice flour and 40 sheep and 6 measures of wine. The king revered it and went every day to worship it, but Daniel worshipped his own God. So the king said to him, "Why do you not worship Bel?" He answered, "Because I do not revere idols made with hands, but the living God who created heaven and earth and has dominion over all living creatures." The king said to him, "Do you not think that Bel is a living God? Do you not see how much he eats and drinks every day?" And Daniel laughed and said, "Do not be deceived, O king, for this thing is only clay inside and bronze outside, and it never ate or drank anything." Then the king was angry and called the priests of Bel and said to them, "If you do not tell me who is eating these provisions, you shall die. But if you prove that Bel is eating them, Daniel shall die, because he has spoken blasphemy against Bel." Daniel said to the king, "Let it be done as you have said." Now there were 70 priests of Bel, besides their wives and children. So the king went with Daniel into the temple of Bel. The priests of Bel said, "See, we are not going outside. You yourself, O king, set out the food and prepare the wine and shut the door and seal it with your signet. When you return in the morning, if you do not find that Bel has eaten it all, we will die, otherwise Daniel will. Who is telling lies about us?" They were unconcerned, for beneath the table they had made a hidden entrance through which they used to go in regularly and consume the provisions. After they had gone, the king set out the food for Bel. Then Daniel ordered his servants to bring ashes, and they scattered them throughout the whole temple in the presence of the king alone. Then they went out, shut the door, and sealed it with the king's signet and departed. During the night, the priests came as usual with their wives and children, and they ate and drank everything. Early in the morning, the king rose and came, and Daniel with him. The king said, "Are the seals unbroken, Daniel?" He answered, "They are unbroken, O king." As soon as the doors were open, the king looked at the table and shouted in a loud voice, "You are great, O Bel, and in you is no deceit at all." But Daniel laughed and restrained the king from going in. "Look at the floor," he said, "and notice whose footprints these are." The king said, "I see the footprints of men and women and children." Then the king was enraged, and he arrested the priests and their wives and children. They showed him the secret doors through which they used to enter to consume what was on the table. Therefore the king put them to death and gave Bel over to Daniel, who destroyed it and its temple. This is a fascinating story, and there are many myths surrounding it as well. For example, the gates of Babylon have what appears to be a creature of a brachiosaurus, brontosaurus, and this is well before the science of what's it called? I'm sorry, I forget the word, but it's the study of dinosaurs and fossils. And so the question was, well, how did they know back then what these things were, right? So there are some beliefs that this was a leftover from the ancient world, a small type of brontosaurus or brachiosaurus. But that's kind of one of the more legendary type myths. But there is a misconception about the Apocrypha. Where do we see it today? Well, the New American Bible used in the Catholic Church, they include 7 of the apocryphal books, and they call it the deuterocanonical text, or the second canon. You don't see any of the second canon in Protestant churches or denominations, or the lineages of Baptist, Presbyterian, confessional faiths. You don't see them there either, but they have gained popularity. And I'm sorry, to suggest that they are not useful just is inaccurate, because in other parts of the world, some of these books are part of the canon. Some of these books are referenced in the Bible. So I do think they have value, but it's always better to be safe than sorry when you're using them and referencing them. First of all, don't use them to preach the gospel, because you're not going to find them there. Secondly, just refer to them as history. The histories say, the Jewish histories say, and that's an interesting way to do it. This book is called the Apocrypha. It's from the New Revised Standard Edition, the apocryphal deuterocanonical books of the Old Testament. This is by Cambridge University Press, and this one is from 1992. It was reprinted with corrections in 98 and in 2001. I recommend that if you're in this kind of thing, you get yourself a copy and read them. They're very interesting, and they certainly do add to the tapestry that is our beautiful Christian faith. Thank you for watching. If there is anything you want to say it in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe. Go to amazon.com/author/nicholasdgarrett, and you can buy some of my books that I've written. And also, please watch videos. That's how we do things here. The more videos you watch, the better off we all are, the more we learn together. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you next time.